For those who are keeping count, and why the hell would you be keeping count, but somehow, for some reason, I am, welcome to the 25th episode of the Mike and Molson Too Good for Radio podcast.
Go to your favorite podcast distributor and collect the whole set.
Yeah. The box set, just in time for the holidays. The first 25 episodes of this Too Good for Radio podcast. I'm Mike Winmacher.
Hey, Johnny Molson here.
And we will start where we usually end some of these podcasts with a wonderful story from the Am I the A-Hole Reddit forum.
Oh, okay, great.
All right, we start here. It begins, I just got married to the love of my life. I've usually gotten on pretty well with my new in-laws. Usually my mother-in-law doesn't wear perfume, or at least not any that I've been able to notice. My wife had her mother be her matron of honor, so she was standing with us up front. It was a small area, and with her right next to my wife, I was able to smell her perfume. Shortly after the ceremony started, I started to get watery eyes and sniffles. Our ceremony was supposed to only last 20 minutes max, so I thought I just push through it. But it got worse. It started getting worse after the ceremony when new mother-in-law hugged me. Itchy eyes, itchy throat, and headache got added to the mix.
Wow.
My wife asked if I was all right, and I told her I think her mother's perfume was getting to me. We had someone go get some allergy medication. I took one, but it didn't do a whole lot, and I started to feel out of it. Get to the reception, and we started to do our photos. I couldn't do group photos with my mother-in-law in them. I told my wife we needed to figure something out because my symptoms weren't letting up, and I didn't want to be out of it from taking more meds for our reception or to have to leave my own reception. My wife asked her mom to keep some distance between us to try and make it easier for me. It didn't really. That perfume followed her like a damn cloud.
Wow.
Then my wife asked her mom to try and wash wherever she dabbed her perfume.
Doesn't sound like she dabbed at all.
Right, but the mother-in-law said she didn't dab it on. She spritzed herself, so it was on her dress, too.
She dunked it.
Yeah. At that point, they said they were out of ideas and there wasn't anything we could do. He continues. I said there was one more thing and suggested that maybe mother-in-law leave to change her dress and then come back, or even, get this, go to a nearby thrift store or something, get any type of clothes. I'll pay for it. Right. I asked my mother-in-law to either please do that or leave, and we visit later with cake because it was getting to the point where I would have to leave instead. So he's like lost it at this point because this damn perfume, and now he's saying, Go to the thrift store, go whatever, do whatever. We'll bring cake later.
Yeah, he's moments away from going into anaphylactic shock.
Right. My wife and mother-in-law objected to this because my wife wanted her mom there the whole time.
Understandable.
Right. He goes, I understand the day was big for my wife and she wanted her mother there, and I wanted her there too, but I wasn't able to enjoy my own wedding. I wound up sitting outside with some of my family and groomsmen. I started to feel better. And when I did, my wife came out and asked if I was going back inside then. I told her, no. Exactly. As long as your mom's here with the damn perfume, I'm not coming back in. The night ended with my wife spending our wedding night at her parents' house.
No kidding.
Am I the asshole for asking my mother-in-law to leave?
Surely there was some kind of détente that could have been figured out.
That escalated quickly, did it not? I mean, I understand his perspective, right? Yeah. You want to enjoy the wedding. If it's getting to the point where you have migraine, you're sniffling, and you look sick, yes, it's the wife's wedding night, but it's also your wedding reception as well. And I think sometimes that gets lost in the shuffle. But yeah, you're right. There could have been some accord made, correct?
And couldn't mom have just said, hey, you know what? I'll go sit over there, and maybe that'll...
Well, he said the distance didn't really help because it permeated wherever she went. It just hung around.
No kidding.
Because we've all had that, right?
Yeah.
We've all been in a situation where you're just like, whoa, someone put it on a little thick today. But to the point where she went home and stayed wedding night with her parents over this. That's not a good start to the wedding.
Because he wouldn't come back in. I mean, that's I can see a lot of hurt feelings, but I think the solution was for mom to do something.
Yeah, you would think
light your clothes on fire.
Well, go home and make a quick change or something like that. Like he wasn't being, I think, too demanding. It's like, hey, just go. I mean, because we've seen it before. people change outfits. Like even the bride from time to time will change out of the big wedding dress into something more comfortable for the reception. So that's not unheard of.
There's also a bigger issue here, too, of it sounds like mom doesn't use perfume regularly, so she doesn't know how to use perfume.
I think you're right. I think you're onto something.
Colognes and people who just don't seem to understand, a little goes a long way.
As they say in the biz or in the advertisement, a little dab will do you.
Yeah.
You don't need to bathe in it. And couldn't they?
You spray it in the air and you walk through it.
That's how it goes.
That's all you do.
Couldn't they? To your point, they could have come to an accord of alternating inside outside. Like when he comes in, mom goes outside.
Something.
And then they flip-flop.
I would have gotten one of those foam fire extinguishers and just blasted her with it.
Or someone go get Febreze and try to overpower the perfume with the Febreze.
I would have given like the waiter at the reception $100 tip. I said, I want you to trip with a big tray of red wine and just wipe her out.
I didn't even think about that.
Oops, I guess you got to go home.
That could have been the best way. That would have been the way to solve it.
This is where like a good pie fight needs to break out and just wreck her and say, I guess you got to go home.
I think you're right. That should have been something where someone like flinging the mashed potatoes or whatever, get something on that dress to get it off her and get out. But the fact that it got to the point where the wedding night was not spent together over mom's perfume, I don't know if this guy's the a-hole in this particular situation.
Does it seem to you that with perfumes and colognes, there are a couple that are nice and the rest of them are just gag-filled?
Yeah. I to be honest with you, it may be twice in my life I've attempted to wear cologne where I'll just spritz it and walk through. But 90% of the time, they smell awful.
And maybe that's person to person, but yeah, it's like every once in a while, there's a couple that are like, oh, okay, I kind of...
And we all have those people that are like wherever you are because of their scent.
Yeah.
Where you just, because it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen unless that person is around. And you go, so-and-so's here.
Yeah, they can't sneak up on you.
No, they can't because they bathe themselves in it. So if you take anything away from this particular story, don't bathe in cologne or perfume. And also, this is a difficult situation. I don't feel like this guy's an a-hole. I think he had a valid point.
I think so too. I think bride and groom win. And mom probably needs to figure something out.
Yeah. Some new perfume as well. There's a new trend going around that you brought up to me that I thought was patently ridiculous, but yet here it is in GQ magazine.
It's becoming more and more popular of people who have decided, hey, I'm just not tall enough. What can I do? And what you can do is have your legs lengthened.
Pardon me?
Yeah, that's how you get taller. Which seems like, aren't you going to end up looking like a giraffe just with like really disproportionately long legs?
Correct. But how would one go about that? Because you only have so much real estate to work with, right? Within your legs.
Here's the thing. So this guy was about 5'8", which is pretty average.
Yeah.
5'8", 5'9", I think is about average.
That's right where I am.
But he wanted to be taller. And he wanted to be 3 inches taller.
I don't think there's enough
3 inches.
There's not enough real estate scientifically for you to be able to do that.
So he went and took out a loan for $75,000.
Holy! Okay, first of all, who's giving him that loan? How do you go in and be like
SoFi? You see those ads on TV for SoFi. You can go get a loan. So he went and got a loan. And he's going to spend for the next 5 years or so. He's going to pay back the bank at $1,200 a month. Has no regrets. People just look at you differently when you're tall. I already got more looks at the gyms. He first heard about leg lengthening on Facebook. Where you should go for your medical.
Good God! This whole story already. I'm going to go to Facebook and see about leg lengthening, and here's $75,000 to pull my leg.
Kevin Debaparshad runs Limplast X in Las Vegas.
Whoa. Limplast X?
Yeah.
Of course it's Las Vegas.
As is the case with a lot of these things, it was a legitimate plastic surgery thing for people with, true problems with their legs. But here's what happens. So the doctor goes in, breaks your leg.
I was going to say, you have to break it and then stretch it out, right, to reset it?
And then a metal nail goes into the bone. Okay? Every 3 months, they go in and lengthen the nail just slightly. And then a little more. and then a little more. It can take months to slowly lengthen the bones. So the bones are broken, and there's this thing in the middle that I guess magnetically they can extend, and they just do it slightly. The bone heals, and now it's longer. Move it a little more, and the bone heals, and it's a little longer.
Are you able to walk?
That was my thought, too.
Are you in a wheelchair for like a year and a half while this process is going on?
It can take months to slowly lengthen the bones and for the legs to heal.
Because I had pins in my hand
Yeah.
when I had my surgery, and it was like, if you break the pins, we have to go in and do more surgery. So I was like holding my arm up all the time, like, don't touch it. I only can imagine nails in your legs.
And you can lengthen your legs by 3, 4, 5, or even 6 inches.
Bull. I call bull crap on that. 6 inches?
6 inches.
How weird are you going to look?
Right.
To your point.
That's what I mean.
You're built a certain way, and you are going to be giraffe. Like, if you put 6 inches more of leg on me, I already have a short torso. Another 6 inches of leg. You're right. I look like a weird, gangly giraffe.
Yeah. And I would think you would have to relearn. Your center of balance changes, right?
You have to
relearn how to walk.
New pants?
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden I'm going to the big and tall shop. For what? To what end?
To be taller.
Because why? You playing in the NBA? You just want to be taller?
He just has a
short guy syndrome.
I guess so.
But he was 5'9".
Right.
It's not like he's 5'2".
Yeah, exactly. But that's the same thing, too. I mean, can you imagine, it's one thing when it's a little kid and, I don't know, they go through puberty and a growth spurt and you see him the next time, they're like, wow, look how much you've grown.
Yeah.
But for a grown, man in his 40s, goes away for the summer and comes back and he's 6 inches taller.
That would be weird.
Start asking questions,
It'd
right?
be weird. Yeah, you're right. If I were to go do this and we don't see each other and I walk in and you go, what? Mm-hmm. What, you hit another growth spurt? No, $75,000. Thanks, SoFi and Plastic X or whatever out in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
That's just bizarre.
LimplastX.com if you are looking for that. We'll see if we can get them to be a sponsor on the show.
Yeah. If you want to get taller, listen to this podcast and go to LimplastX in Las Vegas.
So you can, I'm looking at his website now. So there's 4 different procedures you can choose from. You can choose precise stride femur lengthening for $75,000, precise stride tibia lengthening for $84,000, precise 2.2 femur lengthening or precise 2.2 tibia lengthening. Does not include pain medications, home care, out-of-state physical therapy, accommodation, travel expenses, et cetera, et cetera.
That's another thing, too.
It doesn't include nail implant removal. That's another.
Good Lord!
That's another $20,000 to take the stupid thing out of your leg.
Oh God!
God Almighty!
And the physical therapy as well. Can you imagine going in and be like, "What are you in here for?" I lengthen my legs. Can you teach me how to walk again?
Oh, this bastard! On that same page, financing available. You can get a loan from SoFi or Lightstream SunTrust Bank.
He's covering all the different avenues, isn't he?
Get a loan, come on in.
I'll break your leg.
Put you on the rack.
It seems like something run by the mafia. I'll break your legs. I'll put a nail in there. But I love the fact that I'm not taking the nail out unless you want to pay me an extra $20,000.
Yeah, good Lord.
What a jerk. Yeah. Speaking of things that people
don't do that.
Yeah, people may want lengthening. Here's a bizarre study that was done recently. In a study, 106 mostly female college students viewed 24 pictures of penises that varied in girth, length, and amount of pubic hair.
Did they know that was going to happen before they got into the club? Okay.
The pictures were collected from publicly available Reddit forums. There's enough wang out there on the internet, which I'm sure there is. Everybody, guys, by the way, if you're listening, don't ever send that.
Everybody wants to show their stuff.
They do, I guess. Now, here's the thing about this study. I'm going to take you through, after viewing the picture of the dang, the participants were then asked to respond to 11 questions about the particular penis that they are looking at. All right? I'm going to take you through these questions.
Okay.
And let me know at what point do you go, these questions are, pardon the pun, ridiculous.
Because for 100% of the women out there, a penis is just weird.
It is.
And it's weird.
That should be the end of it.
Yeah.
Does this penis look weird? Yes or no? Okay, study over.
I mean, there's a reason the classic artists always painted these lovely nude women. They're like round and curvy and just pretty and everything. And then you see a dong, and you're like, that's weird. What the hell's going on there? This is weird.
Right? Yeah.
We really do not. We do not look good naked.
No, we don't. So here are the questions that in this study, after they looked at the penis, here's some of the here's the 11 questions. And like I said, once again, stop me when you think superfluous, unnecessary question. First question is this a prototypical / stereotypical penis?
Right.
All right.
Like ones you'd see in a movie.
Next question. Is this an attractive penis?
No.
None of them are.
No such thing.
I don't think anybody in the history of ever was like, that's an attractive penis.
That's Kevin Nealon's skit on Saturday Night Live. Hey, nice penis.
Exactly. So that's the second one. Third, do you believe this person is sexually active?
At the time the picture was taken, or just in general?
Just in general. These are all general questions after seeing the particular penis picture.
Because if it's just hanging there, you go, no, obviously the person's not sexually active.
Would this person be good in bed? Is another question that they were asked in this particular penis study. Here's where I think it starts to go a bit awry. Is this person extroverted or enthusiastic? Is it how it's shot? Is it how it's framed that you would glean how someone, assuming that they took a picture of their crank, I would assume they're probably extroverted.
Probably not. Yeah, exactly.
Is this person dependable or self-disciplined?
No.
Over their penis pictures?
No, they're not. They're putting pictures
Once again, I think we're getting to questions that don't need to be asked in this particular situation. Is this person anxious or easily upset?
That's an angry-looking dick you got there.
That is one. You know what? That's very kind of shriveled up. That is a very kind of, I don't know about this penis.
Could attack at any time.
Is this person open to new experiences? I would think so. If they're sending out dick pics to the internet,
you're freaky. Yeah.
Is this person sympathetic or warm in their feelings? How do you tell that from a penis? Would this person be an active member of sex or a passive member in sex? Are they initiating, or are they just sitting back and allowing someone else to do all the work? And the 11th question. How many sexual partners do you think this person has had?
So does it...
By looking at his junk.
Yeah. So what were the results? Does it say what the results of the study were? I mean, did they glean anything interesting from these dumb questions?
Yeah, they say the researchers found that differences in the Wangus were associated with different assumptions about personality. Okay. Penis is seen as more prototypical or stereotypical, or viewed as more attractive.
Okay.
Prototypicality was also strongly associated with being good in bed, conscientious, being sexually active, agreeableness, and openness to experience. So if you look like a regular penis, everyone thinks you're doing okay.
Yeah.
In terms of girth, men with more narrow penises were perceived to be more neurotic. Those with wider, on the other hand, were perceived to be more sexually active, better in bed, more extroverted, more open to new experiences, more of a pleaser, and to have had more sexual partners. Yeah. So, and then they went out with the shorter ones were associated with more neuroticism. They also even talked about pubic hair. They said that men with longer pubic hair are perceived as less extroverted, conscientious, agreeable, and open to new experiences compared to the trimmed and no pubic hair, I should say. Those with trimmed, in contrast, perceived as more attractive, sexually active, better in bed, and more of a pleaser compared to both the long and completely shaved counterparts. There's a lot going on in that study of dick.
Probably could have assumed a lot of that stuff to be true.
Yeah, and by the way, it should have been just the one question of, does this look weird? Yes or no. You don't need 11 question survey of dick pics, folks. But people like to show their stuff, like you said.
Sometimes you get one and you don't want it. I think a lot of times you get one and you don't want it. This is in West Palm Beach, Florida, where a guy's been taken into custody, walking up to somebody's Ring doorbell camera.
Oh.
Victim told police he received a notification from his doorbell, and so he went to his phone. He then saw Marco Lopez Suarez, half nude in front of his camera, walking up the stairs with his pants down and his something in parentheses out. I like the way they... Guess
what it is.
Yeah, this news outlet just put body part in parentheses.
He had his toe out and he wiggled it into my camera.
With his body part out, he looked at the camera and then started touching himself.
Oh.
Mr. Lopez Suarez then proceeded to go into his house after a short time, exited his house without any pants on, and started, quote, flopping it around.
It goes back to your premise. By 2030, we're all going to be in some type of porn, whether a background character or in it ourselves.
Mr. Suarez then sat down on the steps and continued to be flopping.
Flopping it around.
At that time, the victim stopped watching the video. So he sat. I don't know.
Wait, he got to that far of the point?
I think it's probably more out of shock. You don't know exactly what to do.
True.
You pick up your phone. Ding dong, someone's at the door.
Well, ding dong indeed.
And there's a ding dong at the door.
Ding dong, no ditch. Watch me just stand here and flop it around.
He took ding dong literally.
Yeah.
He was dropped off at his house after partying at his friend's house all night. Mr. Lopez did admit to being drunk when he arrived home. Once at his home, he had his pants down because he was about to pee, but then decided to go outside into his restaurant. So Mr. Lopez denied the allegations that he was in a sex act and said he only had his pants down to pee.
Why do you have your full pants down then? Because he's half nude.
Yeah, because you're drunk.
I guess you're right. But
So what he's saying is, yep, I was completely lit. I needed to go. I undid my pants, and I just happened to be
outside,
swinging it around in front of a
ding dong doorbell.
Yeah,
a Ring camera.
So I don't know who to believe there, but my guess is
even drunk though,
the victim's account is probably more accurate.
Even drunk though, at my drunkest point, I still was able to maneuver a zipper.
Sure.
I didn't go, well, I'm going to go full like kid learning how to pee in a urinal.
Right.
Here's my butt cheeks for everybody.
Right.
It's like, come on, man.
Even when you're drunk, you don't fumble around with it trying to figure out how to operate it.
And you don't walk outside half nude.
Yeah, like it's a garden hose that's already on.
What's going on, doorbell? Hey, how's it going? Yeah, no. And then you don't sit down and kind of just fling it around a little bit like boing, boing.
I don't know. When you're drunk, though, a lot of things make sense that don't. It's like,
that's true.
You just see something in front of you, you start smacking it around.
You're like, oh, what's this? Hey, what's up, buddy? Haven't seen you in a while. Want to come out and play?
Wiggle, 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 wiggle.
25th episode of the Mike and Molson Too Good for Radio podcast. If you think that was as low as we could go, well, you haven't heard anything yet. As we move from the dangus to the other end, where a hospital in Ireland. This happened in Dublin, all right? This 66-year-old woman comes in, all right? And this was published in the Irish Medical Journal. She comes to St. Vincent's University Hospital, where an X-ray revealed foreign objects in her body. But miraculously, none of them were obstructing her gastrointestinal tract, okay? Doctors initially decided to wait in hopes that she would pass batteries. That's what she had swallowed, a bunch of AA and AAA batteries.
Okay.
And they go, all right, well, let's just wait for them to pass, okay?
No.
So, yeah, because they didn't know the extent of the amount of batteries.
Okay.
They just know there was some in there, but there's no blockage, thank God.
Okay.
Let's like a dog, wait for it to pass and hope it all comes out okay. She released 5 AA batteries in the first week. And they're like, okay, let's hope that's all there is.
Man.
But she then began to experience abdominal pain, even more so than she was before. Mm-hmm. She comes back to the hospital, and after realizing that her distended stomach was hanging above the pubic bone due to the weight of the batteries, surgeons had to cut into her abdomen. So her stomach was so distended, it was hanging down. And so they're like, well, we got problems there.
AA batteries don't weigh anything. How many did she have in here? I'm sure we're going to find out.
Well, 5 have already passed, remember?
Right.
Okay. So now they cut into her abdomen and then successfully remove 46 more.
No kidding.
So that's 51 AA and AAA batteries a 66-year-old woman had ingested.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
So we're at 51.
Okay.
Now, here's the problem.
Oh, now we're getting to the problem. Okay,
yeah.
Good.
Unfortunately, they say, for all involved, 4 additional batteries remain trapped in the colon.
Wow.
So, as described in the report, doctors, quote, milked them into her rectum to remove them from her anus. Can you imagine all the doctors there, right?
Man.
This lady comes in, she poops out 5, they go in 46 more, and they're like, sorry, we got a problem. There's still 4 more stuck in the colon. Who's going to milk these batteries into her rectum to take them out of the anus?
After...
Who drew the short straw? Dr. Bruce? Dr. Bruce. Sorry, buddy. It's your turn to milk someone's rectum.
And what is it? You go to 4 years of college, then another 8 years of medical school, spend hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And you're milking a 66-year-old's rectum.
Yeah, don't you go, you know what? I think I'm just going to go be an accountant. I'm not going to do this job anymore.
So
I'm sorry, your mother's dead. That you just walk away, right?
Yeah.
You go, we can't do anything.
And how does that bypass everything else? Right? Mm-hmm. How do you get that around the rest of the stuff that may come out through that hole as well?
See, but that kind of stuff they're trained for. Look, things happen in surgeries and things come out ends and stuff like that. So that's not particularly distressing. But the fact that there is no chapter in the New England Journal of Medicine that says, hey, if this happens, do that. Yeah. They had to on the fly go, this is our only option.
We just got to try to...
But it's not.
No. They could have probably done... I guess they didn't want to perforate the bowels by going and taking something and going through there.
Too bad. You eat 51 batteries.
55 total.
Yeah, you're gonna get sliced like a salmon right down the middle, and they are going to just dump them out.
Well, here's our choices. Okay. We can fillet her colon, the gastrointestinal tract like a salmon, as Johnny so eloquently put it, or hear me out, hear me out on this, or we milk the colon and get it into a rectum, and they pop out of the anus.
Whichever one of those is least oppressive on the medical staff is the one you do. And I'm saying you just cut her wide open.
By the way, they go on to say, to the best of our knowledge, this case represents the highest reported number of batteries ingested at a single point in time.
So do we know why she ate so many batteries?
They think she was going through some things and mentally unfit.
I'm sure she was, yes. Clearly, something was wrong.
So they say that basically it goes to show that while the incident certainly inspired curious bafflement, report reminded readers that the ingestion of batteries is a serious, albeit unusual, method of self-harm. And also, unusual method of having the poor doctors having to deal with something, including milking things out of the rectum.
You just, remember like in Jaws when they just cut the shark open and a license plate fell out?
Yes.
Same kind of thing. You just slice her right down the middle, you hang her by her feet, and you shake until all the batteries come out, and then you kind of sew her up and say, you need to go figure this out. We're not. That's the last time we're doing that.
You only get one.
Yeah.
We'll not be milking a rectum again, ma'am.
No.
You only get one of those, and you're done. And finally, since we're in that area,
why not?
Let's go ahead and talk about a new survey about passing gas. This particular survey says that basically people have 338 close calls a year when it comes to passing gas.
Close calls?
Yeah, as far as like
an open flame?
Yeah, well, no, like they're trying to hold it in.
Oh, I see.
Is what they're saying. They go on to say, more specifically, the average survey respondent keeps themselves from passing gas 6.5 times a week. That they're saying that happens.
Okay.
Most of these incidents occur in a restaurant or while traveling.
Man, I feel like I do that 6.5 times half a day.
Every day? Yeah. Half a day? I'm trying to find the rest of the survey here. It seems to have, because they also talk about the average amount of dates. The poll also shows that over a quarter think the worst place to accidentally pass gas is during a work meeting or professional outing. Most people have put a Zoom meeting on mute to pass gas. Can you imagine that from what? You kind of know, right? Whether it's gonna be a loud one or not.
Yeah, you should. You
can kind of gauge
a sense as to what's building up down there.
Yeah. And to know if you need to put it on. And really, even the loudest of gas you've ever passed, has it been that earth-shakingly loud that you would have to mute a Zoom call?
I guess I'm not that gassy. I guess I don't. I don't ever find myself in a situation like, oh my God, I've got to do something about this.
I try to hold it in. Like It's rare.
And you do the thing like Barney Rubble, you run over a hill. And then you come back.
And you're fine. You're good to go. Yeah, traveling, like, it's a close quarters in a airplane. So, like, I will try to hold it in that particular situation, but it's not healthy to. Here's the thing, though, about...
See, I don't understand. Why is it not healthy? What is it go
to hold it in?
Yeah.
Because it goes right back in. The next thing you know, someone may have to milk your rectum to get it out.
No, that's not a thing.
But here's the thing about this study that I find interesting. Because they talk about it within a romantic setting.
Yeah.
Right? They say, while many may be embarrassed at passing gas, most people don't consider it to be a relationship deal breaker. In fact, if it happened on a first date, 24% would just give their date a look, 23% said they'd joke about it, and 19% would pretend nothing happened.
Okay.
They went on to ask, how many dates should there be before you're comfortable enough to pass gas in front of your romantic partner? And they said 6 dates. The average response was 6 dates before comfortable enough to like a in front of somebody. That seems remarkably short to me.
That does seem. I'm thinking like you got to have like 2 or 3 years. You got to sit down and have a conversation about it.
I have to say,
there's got to be.
Let me ask you this then. I don't know if they asked this in the survey. I think the comfortability needs to be at least wait until after the first "I love you" is said. You can't pass the first gas before a first "I love you."
Yeah. And that's when you let it blast.
Exactly. When you know.
Thank God.
Exactly. And it always has to be the guy that does it first, right?
Yeah.
I don't think a female can wait and be the first to pass gas in front of people.
I'm not even convinced women know how.
You're right. I don't know if I've ever. I don't know if. Usually theirs are dainty, right? Mm-hmm. They're dainty and just kind of. Even the sound, even if they are, God forbid, they one do it in front, or two, if it is any sound, it's always very.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
it sounds like a little flute.
Exactly. In fact, music plays. It's like butterflies. It's like,
Excuse me.
Meanwhile, we're like a timpani.
Right.
Bum, 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 bum. So, yeah. Also, 44% said they've had an evening of love ruined by their own gas. 43% say it's been a partner's fault.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I guess I don't know, man.
Hey, man, when it comes down to it, everybody farts.
Yeah.
And it's always going to be funny.
It's always funny. It's just
so don't need to mute the Zoom. Just let it go boom.
Oh, I want that on a bumper sticker.
Yeah. And you can get that if you go to what's one of the like printing advertisement stuff or whatever, coffee cups and stuff.
Yeah, 4imprint or something.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, just go to 4imprint and you can get that on a bumper sticker.
Use the Mike and Molson's code.
Yeah, exactly. And you'll get no % off of the sticker that says, don't mute the Zoom, just go boom. Happy 25th episode.
Happy 20. I owe you a roll of aluminum foil or something.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for everyone that's listening to the Mike and Molson Too Good for Radio podcast. Till next time, my friends.
Salute.